Why do millions of people rush to watch someone get canceled on social media? Why does it feel so good to see the mighty fall? The answer lies in a German word that explains one of the darkest, most fascinating parts of human nature, and social media companies are using it to keep you scrolling. That word is Schadenfreude. It means taking pleasure in the misfortune of others. And when it comes to cancel culture, it's like Schadenfreude on steroids. Today, we're diving deep into the science behind why we love cancel culture. It's not just about holding people accountable. It's about a deep-seated psychological thrill we get from witnessing a public downfall. And trust me, the reasons are more complex and primal than you might think. We're going to explore how watching a powerful person fall from grace activates the same reward centers in your brain as eating chocolate or winning money. Yes, you heard that right. That little dopamine hit you get from a cancellation notification is by design. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is Schadenfreude? At its core, it's an emotion that arises when we see someone else suffer, and instead of feeling sympathy, we feel a sense of satisfaction or even joy. Now, this might sound a bit malicious, and it can be, but it's not always so simple. Psychologists have identified different types of Schadenfreude, and the one most relevant to cancel culture is what we call justice-based Schadenfreude. This happens when we believe the person who is suffering deserved it. When a celebrity, politician, or influencer who we see as arrogant, hypocritical, or immoral gets exposed, our brains don't just register it as bad news for them. We register it as a victory for justice. We think, finally, they got what was coming to them. This feeling is incredibly powerful because it taps into our innate desire for fairness and a balanced world. When we see someone who has more power, wealth, or status than us stumble, it can temporarily level the playing field, making us feel better about our own position in life. Think about it. Our brains are wired for social comparison. We constantly, often subconsciously, measure ourselves against others. When someone we perceive as being above us is brought down, it reduces the gap. This can ease feelings of envy or inadequacy. It's a cognitive shortcut that tells our brain, hey, maybe I'm not doing so bad after all. This isn't necessarily a conscious thought, but it's a powerful underlying driver. So, how does this actually work in the brain? Neuroscientists have studied this. When we experience this justice-based Schadenfreude, brain regions like the ventral striatum light up. This is a key part of the brain's reward system. It's the same area that responds to things we find inherently pleasurable, like delicious food, winning a game, or even receiving a compliment. The brain releases dopamine, the feel-good neurotransmitter, which reinforces the behavior. Essentially, our brain rewards us for seeing justice served. This creates a feedback loop. We see a cancellation, we get a dopamine hit, and then we seek out more of it. Now, let's bring social media into the picture, because this is where Schadenfreude gets amplified to an unprecedented degree. Platforms like Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram are the perfect breeding grounds for this emotion. The algorithms on these platforms are designed for one primary goal: to keep you engaged, to keep you scrolling, clicking, and commenting. And what is more engaging than high-stakes human drama? When a cancellation starts to trend, the algorithms recognize it as hot content. They see the surge in likes, retweets, and comments. The system doesn't understand the moral nuances. It just understands engagement metrics. So, it pushes that content to more and more people. Your For You page or your timeline becomes a front-row seat to the downfall. The platform essentially creates a digital amphitheater where we can all watch the spectacle unfold in real time. This creates a sense of collective participation. You're not just a passive observer. You can be part of the mob. You can add your own comment, share the receipts, or simply hit the like button on a post condemning the person. This act of participating, even in a small way, enhances the feeling of satisfaction. It makes you feel like you are part of a righteous movement, standing on the right side of history. It connects you with a community of like-minded people who are all experiencing the same justice-based Schadenfreude. This social bonding aspect is crucial. We feel validated in our outrage and our pleasure because thousands or even millions of others feel the same way. But there's a darker side to how this plays out. The speed and scale of social media mean that context is often lost. Nuance is flattened. A single out-of-context quote, an old problematic tweet from a decade ago, or a misunderstanding can spiral into a full-blown cancellation before anyone has time to investigate the facts. The digital mob can form and pass judgment in a matter of hours. The initial spark of righteous anger, fueled by Schadenfreude, can quickly turn into a wildfire of pure condemnation, often without a fair trial. The person at the center of it becomes less of a human being and more of a symbol. They become an effigy for whatever societal ill they are accused of representing, whether it's hypocrisy, privilege, or prejudice. And when we are dealing with symbols instead of people, it becomes much easier to dehumanize them and take pleasure in their destruction without feeling guilt. The algorithms don't care about due process. They care about clicks. And a complex story with nuance doesn't get as many clicks as a simple story of a villain getting their just desserts. This system exploits our psychology. It knows that outrage and Schadenfreude are powerful emotional drivers that will keep our eyes glued to the screen. It's a feedback loop. The platform feeds us drama, our brains reward us for consuming it, and our engagement signals to the algorithm to give us more. It's an addiction cycle, and the drug is other people's misfortune. So, is there a way out? How can we be more mindful consumers of this content? The first step is awareness. Simply understanding the psychology of Schadenfreude and how it's being used can help us take a step back. When you feel that rush of satisfaction seeing someone get dragged online, ask yourself why. Is it truly about justice, or is it just the dopamine talking? Are you reacting to a complex human being, or a simplified villain narrative being fed to you by an algorithm? It's also important to seek out context and nuance. The internet often presents things in black and white, but reality is almost always shades of gray. Before joining the chorus, take a moment to look for the full story. Is the punishment proportionate to the offense? Is there room for forgiveness or growth? Remember, behind every profile picture is a real person. While accountability is essential for a healthy society, a culture that revels in destruction without a path to redemption can become toxic for everyone. The thrill of Schadenfreude is a deeply ingrained part of our human nature. It's not something we can just switch off. But by understanding the science behind it, we can become more conscious of its pull. We can recognize when we're being manipulated by algorithms that profit from our most primal emotions. And we can choose to engage more thoughtfully, seeking true justice rather than just a quick, satisfying hit of someone else's pain. The next time you see a cancellation unfolding, pause for a moment. Acknowledge that feeling of Schadenfreude, but don't let it be the only voice you listen to. Thank you so much for watching. This is a really complex topic, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever felt that satisfaction from a public cancellation? Let's discuss it. And if you found this exploration of human psychology interesting, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives. See you in the next one.